them have turned up dead. To the story of what is happening in the country, the IEBC selection panel has advertised call for applications for the positions of chairman, IEBC, and 6 commissioners. Those interested Kenyans who are qualified have up to 15th of February to make the applications for them to be considered for that. The committee has until the end of April, about 27th of April, to conclude that process and give names to the president, who shall then select from a pool the chairperson and 6 members of the commission. But there are bigger challenges ahead of the country, that it is likely the country may not review its boundaries before the 2027 election. We spoke to the IEBC top management, and they are saying that even if, because already we're out of time, even if the Supreme Court were to give an advisory for IEBC to conclude the process of reviewing the boundaries, it would be practically impossible to have those boundaries ready by August 2026, which is the latest new boundaries can be in place for them to be used in the election of 2027. Mheshimiwa Muriu, so where we are, a constitutional crisis we are staring at, what options do we have?
Some we are between a stone and very hard place. Now, boundary issue is one. But the worst part is this. Under the Constitution, there are about 22 or thereabout constituencies which are highlighted that unless they are given a new mandate to exist, they will cease to exist because they do not meet the constitutional threshold of the population. That's, to me, that's the biggest problem.
22 or 27?
They're about 20. They're about. They are 22, 27. They're about. To me, that's the biggest challenge, because again, our constitution provides that you cannot take away what you've already given the people. But again, by the mechanism of the Constitution, certain constituencies, 27 of them, will end up not existing anymore. To me, that's the biggest danger. But again, even with the Supreme Court advisory,
right,
I don't think the advisory will tell you to break the law. I don't think so. There was a timeline set by the Constitution. The timeline has passed. Actually, it was supposed to be, I think, 2020.
March 2024.
Exactly, March 2024, which is now passed. Yep. I don't think the Supreme Court will come back and try to reverse that. And therefore, is what it is. It's unfortunate. And remember, again, in 2.5 years, we expect to have an election. So by the time these people come in the month of April, settle down, start now start the planning, start the training, start the procurement. 2027 will be here with us. So, and I want to agree practically. They can't be able, in 2.5 years, the Commission cannot be able to address anything beyond the 2027 election. And you see, the worst part of our election is that we do what you call a cumulative election from the MCA all the way to the president in one day. And therefore, it's not staggered like other countries. And therefore, I don't see how practical it would be to deal with any other issue other than that. But nevertheless, I hope and pray that whatever they do and they're able to do, they do it perfectly, because this country is looking forward to make sure that it changes, make a few changes in this country, right, because of the way things are.
Mheshimiwa Mbui, would that election be constitutional? You're going to an election with constituency boundaries and also the wards that are as old as the 2009 census. In 2027, you'll still have the census of 2019 not implemented, and you'll be 2 years shy of another census.
Now, there are some things that are very, very difficult to implement. I mean, right now, as we sit here, the 3 of us are in Parliament. There was an advisory given to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta by the Supreme Court that Parliament should be scrapped, should be disbanded, because we had not met the 2/3 gender rule. But it was difficult to implement it because even if you scrap Parliament and we go back to to elections, chances are that maybe again the citizens would elect the people they want back to the house without really, considering the gender, because ideally when people are when they are voting, they don't, other than the special seats like the 47 women reps, the rest of the seats are up for grabs for anyone who qualifies, and the public can elect anyone. So basically, there are some things that are difficult to implement,
right.
And this is one of them, because the Constitution caps the constituencies at 290. Yes, it is true there are about 27 constituencies that have falling down on the issue of the population quota. Right. But then again, the question would be that for you cannot remove them, because you still have to have 290 constituencies, because you cannot have people that are not represented in the next election. Right. So everyone must be in a constituency. And so what would happen is that probably some wards would be hived out of the bigger constituencies that are in the neighborhood, and then they create now, there's still another 290 constituencies as was before. So these are things that would take time. And noting that we have just barely 2.5 years to the next election, there is very little time for that to be done and for the people to accept. So what would happen is that even the credibility of the next election would start being in question, because, people would be up in arms first, talking about where they want to be. There are those who would not want to move from the constituency where they are into the new constituencies. Right. So basically, I think at the end of the day, the next election may have to be held under the same conditions that we had in 2022. But then there's also the issue of the selection panel is working to come up with the commission. Right. I would like to advise that let there be no favoritism. We've seen a lot of favoritism in this Kenya Kwanza regime. And I hope that the selection panel can end up giving us, people that are neutral, that can be able to give Kenyans the service they deserve in the next election. My fear is that we've had Kenya Kwanza operatives out there already talking about the next election and saying, if the votes are not enough, we will add. There's another one who said, we know how to manufacture presidential seats for another 24 years. So, those kind of comments are very worrying, and especially because now the selection panel is in place. I would like to advise that they be fair to Kenyans and give us, a fair team. So that the people that come to take over that office don't take us through the shenanigans we saw in the last election, where out of the commissioners, half of them are out in a press conference saying that the elections are rigged, and the chair and a smaller group are at bombers announcing a presidential winner. That kind of situation is what puts us as a country, makes us a laughingstock of the region. So we need to have an IEBC that will remain united and that must believe in the rule of law and must be fair, because elections must be fair. So I plead with the selection panel, when they start looking for commissioners, get very sober people into that commission.
Sober people indeed. Mheshimiwa Koech, what are your thoughts on those two critical issues about selecting, of course, a new commission? You can hear his discomfort and worries ahead of a new team, but also the concerns of the constitutionality of the boundaries that we have and we will have in future. At the same time, a court in Garissa, the High Court itself, has ruled that the census of 2019 in Garissa, Mandera, and Wajir should not be used in making decisions, including by IEBC.
Sam, it's easy now to realize how it has become very easy to blame the president. You must have noticed for anything, but you must have noticed that initially there was a lot of complaint, and people actually thought that it's the president who was stalling the process of IEBC selection panel. It took in fact, actually, even a judge, a High Court judge, not even a High Court judge, Supreme Court judge, made statements towards that end. But you can see it took a court order, a direction, rather, for this selection panel now to start its work. Like Ndabambuya and my colleagues have said here, we want a panel that is going to serve the interest of the people of this country, not individuals. And just to say, there has been a secretariat. By the way, let me tell you, the commissioners hardly do much other than, announcing the presidential results. The people who work at the secretariat, and they've been in office. I am not worried about the capacity of our Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. I'm not worried about the capacity of the staff. I'm not worried about the capacity of the system. What needs to happen is that the commissioners, immediately after this election panel, decides on who, and like my colleagues have said, it should be people who have the interest of the country at heart, they should get to work as soon as possible. The issue of census is, before I come to the other question of the constitutionalism, the issue of census to me was a bit of a shock. That judgment was a shock to me, because if you are annulling a section of census for a particular region,
right,
what do you say about the census that had been picked? Are you saying that you delete the entire census and the people who then had been counted are assumed not to have existed, and you start afresh from other regions? How will that region feel in terms of the view of the rest of the other country? You know? So in my view, I think the judge made a mistake there. If you disagree with census of a particular region, then you'd rather do census for the entire country. Because now the numbers have also changed, many things have changed. It will only be fair, because if you do census now, it will not be the same with how it was last time. It will have been fair if the entire census process was annulled and then we start afresh. So for me, I still have a bit of reservation on why that judgment was made and what it is meant to achieve.
Right.
On the issue of, and let me tell you something that I've noticed about IEBC. You're about to see temperatures rise, because people think, and you even heard on the Bambui saying, oh, you know, KK have been saying that, you know, we will, I don't know if we will.
Top up.
Manufacture.
I am telling you here on this TV that William Ruto has no competitor in the next general election, save for his own manifesto. No competitor. I can tell you that.
That's already rigging.
I am telling you, it's not rigging. Because I do not see anyone
That's a language.
an agenda that can sell. Who is going to compete? Is it going to be Kalonzo? Is it going to be Rigiji? Is it going to be... Who is going to run? First of all...
When is the election?
2027.
When is the campaign season?
It should start 2026, end of 2026 in Kenya.
No. Yeah. It starts in May 2027.
Okay, but I can tell you...
So why all these mobilization events we've been seeing across different parts of the country?
There is no mobilization.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
No.
Did you hear the president say that how tutawashinda masubuhi na mapema?
It is true.
Isn't that about the election of 2027?
No. The president was in Western Kenya for in fact, he's going to Northeastern this week. He was in Western Kenya. He's just rolling out his development agenda. There is absolutely no politics. Our friends are already panicking. Let me tell you, Sam, and I tell you these things many times. No one in the team that I see now, unless there is someone new who is going to come, no one can beat William Samoei Ruto. I can tell you, because you have a group of people. Another one is a horrible tribalist. The other one has no agenda. He has nothing written on his face. In the entire time he was in government of more than 30 years, not a single thing can you say that he ever initiated. Zero. The other one was, you know, all these abductions that happened, River Yala killings. And I don't want to say names because I do not want to have them, to give them the platform to enjoy them being debated on national TV, because they are not there yet. So I'm telling you, the only other formidable person will have been Raila Amolo Odinga. These other ones...
And who tells he won't run?
We will make mincemeat of all these ones.
Some, if you allow me.
No. That point that you said that one of them was involved in River Yala or was in charge during River Yala.
You know the people who stole from Ruaraka. You know the Ruaraka land scandal.
Let's talk about River Yala.
Yes.
So what should happen to such officials?
People should be taken to court.
Why haven't you?
Sam, you have not seen anything. You know, people have been thinking that this president is quiet and he knows nothing. You will see the people who stole Ruaraka land, the people who perpetuated, who facilitated, who aided the disappearance of people and killings during the River Yala season will be taken to court.
So they are known?
They are known.
So what are you waiting for?
The processes are ongoing, and enough evidence is being collected, and I can tell you people will be taken to court.
If those crimes happened between 2017 and 2022, an action is yet to be taken by a government that came and said that they're actually going to go after that, more than 2 years later, what justice should Kenyans expect of the people that are dying today?
I'm telling you, people will be taken to court. anyone who has committed crime. It takes a lot of time to piece together information, particularly...
Mheshimiwa Koech, it is unfair for you to say that, knowing too well that there has been a stubborn question about what Mheshimiwa Mbui was referring to, of those people that showed up at Parliament in balaclavas, and I've asked this question to the CS Defense, that time, now Environment, CS Duale. I've raised the question with DP Kindiki when he was CS Interior, and there has been no answer as to who those people were.
You know, Sam, I don't know how the security infrastructure work in Kenya, but I know that there are cases of individuals who...
I'm sure you don't know. You said in the National Intelligence
Committee. Homicide that were committed that is at the moment under very serious investigation, and people who are culpable will be brought to book. That I can assure you.
I mean, why should you trust that?
Whether it happened 20 years ago or it happened today.
July 4th from CS Kindiki that time. Now
like you said, we are accountable to the people of this country. We will be going to an election in 2027. The people of this country will be asking us questions of the things that we promised. One of them is we must end the history of homicide, abductions, and torture in this country. I can tell you that will end. And the people who did it before will be taken before the court.
No. All right. Mheshimiwa Mbui, as you end up.
This thing of, there's something called cold cases. A cold case is a case that, drags on, and there's nothing being taken to court. These are all cold cases now that we're being told about. Because if really they were intending to do anything, they would have done it by now. And I guess maybe one of the reasons they don't want to rush these cases, because they will also be taken to court after they lose the next election. But you know what I've noticed, Sam? I think lying is contagious. I think when you hang out with Kenya Kwanza, you end up, because we've been told here on live TV that there's no campaigns going on. Everything that the president and his team are doing, what they were doing in Western, what he's doing now, is campaigns for the next election. And in fact, it's campaigns because he keeps talking about his competitors. He called my party leader Watermelon the other day, and I said, wow, that is a new law for a president to go and insult other leaders or national, on a political platform. But then, my colleague here says that, the president has no competitor. I don't know. And just as dismissive as the president is, he's been very dismissive towards my party leader. He says he did nothing in all those years. He was vice president of the Republic of Kenya. He is dismissive about the former deputy president who they campaigned seriously with, because now they're calling him a tribalist. But when he was bringing the votes of Mount Kenya, he was a darling. He was a darling. But let me say this, that, what Kenya Kwanza needs to remember, it is not Kalonzo that will be voting. It is not Rigathi Gachagua that will be voting. It is a Kenyan public. We are the ones that will be voting and will be voting for a president. You cannot, William Samoei Ruto has one vote, and so has Nelson Koech. So you cannot speak for 50 million Kenyans and say, we know who can get the votes. Kenyans will make that decision when the right time comes. And I can tell you right now, if you just walk around and talk to people, I don't think there's many votes out there for Kenya Kwanza.
Now, mine is very simple. I think absolute power corrupts absolutely. The language spoken by my brother here, condescending other leaders, is wanting. And they normally say, pride comes before a fall. And why I'm saying that is because we may cast aspersion on Kenyans, but remember, those are the people who are going to determine. And the psyche in this country is very simple, and I think Honorable Boy has alluded it. Mm-hmm. It is the people to decide. One thing Kenyans have decided, that the people who is killing their children, the person who is raiding their payslip, the person who is one day, they have a deputy president, the other day he has kicked him out for no apparent reason. They may vote for anybody else other than that person. But again, we have got 2.5 years to go. The IBC is in place. And I'm surprised that even, some were told, members of parliament were told, kick out Gachagua, all your problems will come to an end. Me, I said no.
Who told you?
Of course, you know them. You know the owner, the ones who was the push of the motion. You know the push of the motion.
Out of curiosity,
yeah, Sam, we were told, kick out Gachagua, all your problems will come to an end. Since morning, we have not been talking about anything other than problems in this country.
You know,
Even after being kicked out in the present trip in Western, there was no other agenda other than Gachagua. A dead man, a man who is already down. Why are you feeling his shadow? Don't worry.
Moreo, let me ask you this question, and this is the last one. So, a few months to the election, I came to a UDA office, and there was a UDA legal brigade that you are launching yourself.
Yes.
And you said that you're going to work with the UDA to help them, support them legally, and what have you. That time I didn't know that you're actually running for Gatanga, but eventually became Member of Parliament. So when is this time that you realized that actually this administration was the wrong thing?
Sam, and you are very, very right. If there is a man who had goodwill across the country, is the current president. You know, he came to the mountain, he was even speaking the language of the mountain. He was able to resonate with their needs and aspirations. He promised this, he promised that, he promised the other. But when he got into power, the projects, the road projects have never started. The water projects have never started. Mama Mboga has been forgotten. Mutua Boda Boda has been forgotten. Now, come the issue about the elephant in the room. He himself said, I'll never do my deputy president. I'll never take him what I've been taken through by Uhuru. 2 years down the line, Gachagua is in Wamunyoro, courtesy of the same man. Now, make it things worse. We agreed, and this is very important, we agreed we are going to do social housing. But even in our manifesto, there is nowhere we said we are going to raid the people's payslips.
But he did it through Parliament.
Yes, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. Remember, the Parliament is for the majority.
How did you vote on the affordable housing?
He supported it.
Of course, I supported it.
He supported it.
So you're part of the problem.
Hold on, I'm coming to the point. The point is very simple. You see, the point is, there is nowhere in our manifesto we had said we are going to raid the payslips of Kenyans. Just the way we build roads.
And the raiding was aided by you.
Just the way we build the dams.
Mheshimiwa,
and that is the point of
the raiding of the payslip was aided by you, wasn't it?
I'm saying,
are you
when the bill comes to Parliament...
Are you sorry now?
When the bills come to Parliament, Sam, remember, the majority have their way.
And you're part of that majority.
Give me 1 second, Sam, please.
No, we can't.
Are we together?
I really want to respond.
Are we together?
You voted yes to that bill.
Definitely.
Aren't you sorry then?
Why am I sorry? My point is very simple. There's no way we had said...
The president is implementing a bill he brought to you and you agreed with him.
Absolutely.
Sam...
In fact, he was very vocal.
I don't think you're getting my point.
I am getting it.
I'm not. I don't think you're getting my point. The point here is, we had a manifesto.
We still have.
Which clearly said that you're going to build houses, but there is nowhere.
Okay.
We had said we are going to raid the payslips.
That's fine. We have to leave it at that. Let's take a look at the questions. The comments that have come to us at Citizen TV Kenya. At Sam Gichuku, the hashtag to use is Citizen Daybreak, both on X and Facebook. On Facebook, Crispina Swandera, you're saying, the SHA story is miserable. I have a child on my SHA as a dependent, but he cannot enjoy the services that I have to register him differently and pay 6,500 shillings per year for him to qualify using SHA. I don't understand what the system is up to. Zadok, you're saying that SHA is not working. You're given a certain limit for outpatient services, like 900 shillings per year. When you use it once, next visit to hospital, you'll have to use cash for outpatient services. How is this helpful? Musa Karaoke, in December, it paid for me 84,000 shillings out of 100,000 shillings bill. In the same hospital, there were people moving up and down as SHA wouldn't pay a thing. Others even going to Upper Hill headquarters for assistance, but even employees there said they couldn't help. Vic Moaro, it's not working. I experienced it myself yesterday when I took my ill mom to the hospital. Buying IV fluids outside the hospital despite paying for SHA. I think I don't need to pay for it because I spent a lot of money yesterday. This is on X. Mtenzo, you're saying that generally I think SHA has problems, and instead of working on them, politicians are bringing politics in it. Personally, I was sick. I went to a facility. I was forced to pay cash, and yet I have been servicing my SHA thing. Fitz Wimbo, you're saying that I registered and I was shocked to be placed in the bundle of paying 3,040 shillings per month. I appealed through the 104 billion system. Then I was given 1030. I have not paid the subscription since in NHIF I used to pay 500 shillings. I can't pay 1,030 shillings. Then this can only be beneficial if I am admitted. Olena Iboy, you're saying that does it mean when you're in government like a CS, one shouldn't talk about the bad issues in that government? CS Muturi has his own opinion like any other Kenyan. And Engineer Lazaro, the kind of ongoing political intolerance is uncalled for. Let's be tolerant to one another, and members of cabinet to be given opportunity to raise their grievances through the right channels. Cabinet committee. Then Talai, you're saying that the mounting questions of abductions, SHA in chief, and the delivery of basic services show Kenya Kwanza needs to refocus its priorities. What will they do to regain public trust? The questions that you're asking, and so much more that continues on the different platforms, on Facebook and X platform. Continue the conversation. We'll be looking at them. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Robert Mbui, Mheshimiwa Nelson Koech, and Mheshimiwa Edward Murio for making time for us. Up next is Spori Monday. They'll be here to talk about what has been happening over the last few days. Actually, nothing happened yesterday. So enjoy the show. Bye for now.